Hi, this is your friendly anatomy teacher. Today I'm going to give you a quick little lesson on dissecting a frog, the correct way. So I'm going to start with the external anatomy of the frog. You do not need to, you don't start dissecting him until you look at the external anatomy, which is very important. You're going to look at the legs, both forelegs and hind legs. Observe what they look like. You will be asked many questions about this, so you want to make sure. Of course, this is the dorsal side. This is the ventral side. On the dorsal side, you will observe, and these are what you need to pay attention to. These are his eyes. Over his eyes is something called the nictitating membrane. You will be asked about that also. You may cut into this and remove the membranes, and inside of the eye is the lens. The lens is very distinctive in a frog, and you can pop those out. They're little tiny round spheres, and they bounce. How fun is that? Then you are going to check behind the eyes, and you see a flat disc-like surface. This is the tympanic membrane. The frog doesn't have ears. He relies on vibration. And then, after you do that, you're ready to turn him to his ventral side, or hold him up and open his mouth. This may gross you out, but you need to open his mouth wide. So yes, you're going to have to take this and cut through the jawbone on both sides. Open his mouth and observe what type of teeth he has, and look at his tongue. His tongue is really interesting. He's got a forked tongue. Now you're going to wonder why it isn't as big. It doesn't stretch out as long. He's dead. He's dead. In frogs, the muscles are all white. The frog is white meat. So anything that's muscular in the frog is going to be this kind of light color. You may remove the tongue. You will do this with everything you find for the frog. You're going to remove it. You need to really notice how it is attached. Okay? Once you remove the tongue, that's your first item of the day. Then you are ready to pin the frog. There is an art to pinning the frog. You're going to stick a pin right here below and then you're going to stick it in and move it to the side as far as you can go to anchor it. Do the same on the other side. If you move it out like this, you'll see that it will anchor the frog. Do the same with the hind legs. I don't usually work with gloves, so I'm awkward with gloves. You're going to pin it in and move it to an angle. And if you don't angle it, you're not going to anchor it. And this is all you really need to do. Okay, I didn't do that very well. Let me do it a little better. Now, you will notice on your instructions that it tells you how to proceed cutting the frog. You can start, the frog's skin is very rubbery, and you can tell where it is. So you're going to start with the scissors. You will dissect the frog with scissors. You do not need a scalpel. They're easy to cut. You're going to go up under the skin. Now watch me. I'm going all the way up to the very tip, right by his mouth. The skin can be removed. If this is a mid-sagittal cut, then you're going to do a transverse cut on both sides, and then kind of take your scissors and just remove the skin. It may tell you to pin it back. You don't need to. We're not saving it. So you're just going to run your scissors here. Yep. I kind of use the scissors to kind of get the little membrane that's attaching to the muscle underneath. And it will just peel off. You may be grossed out, but it just peels right off. Just remove it. Now you will notice that the frog has a six-pack. This is all muscle. So now you're ready to cut through. This is going to be the vena cava, one of the major veins. It gives you a place to cut. So now be very careful that you only cut through the muscle. Now this is when it gets gross, because you need to cut up through the rib cage. So find the rib cage, it's very small, and cut through the rib cage and go all the way up to the mouth. And then you're going to take this and open it up. You may want to use your tweezers or forceps to remove some of the membrane. Okay, then you're going to do a matching cut like you did with your skin and remove the muscle. You will be asked, there are going to be questions you have to answer all along the way, but I'm just kind of showing you how to actually get into the frog. And you're going to do another transverse cut, and see there's the vein right there. Now you notice the tiny little frog has tiny little organs, and his cavities aren't like humans at all. It's all in one big cavity, and so you're going to see a very large, kind of a grayish green organ. This is a liver. It is a 3-lobed liver. Right above the liver is the heart, and it is tiny right there. So what you're going to do now is you find the liver, and you very gently are going to remove the liver. Be careful not to mess with any organs underneath it. You're going to remove the liver, leaving the heart. Don't remove the heart with the liver. You're just going to take the liver out and what is attached to the liver. Okay, now you see the liver, and underneath the liver is a tiny little structure, and that is called the gallbladder. It's kind of a light green color, so make sure you remove all that together. Set that aside. You're going to label that on a paper towel. Okay, then we're ready. I'm not going to go up to the thoracic area yet, because we're going to go through the digestive first. So the next thing you're going to see is the stomach. The stomach is a muscle. It is a very muscular organ. And remember, all the muscles on the frog are this color. So you can tell that that's what it is. You're going to cut out, try to keep these intact. So you're going to cut the stomach, and you're going to, as carefully as possible, remove the stomach. And then, of course, you have the small intestine. Once again, use your forceps to kind of tease this membrane, this mesentery. And this little bean that you see that's attached to the intestines is called the spleen. It is very small. And that one, I'll just pop it out and put that there. And there is the large intestine. Let's move that out. And then there you have basically the digestive system of the frog. These kind of yellowy looking stringy things that look like ramen noodles, these are fat bodies. Okay? You want to remove these too. This is a male frog. How do I know that? Well, let me show you. Let me get the fat bodies out. You can label those too. Do you see these tiny little white things? These are testes, so this is a male. Okay? There's a vast difference, so this is definitely a male. If you have a female, they're more than likely going to have eggs. And the eggs are little tiny small black things. They're really gross. Okay? Now you can remove the testes are right on top of these two organs here, which are basically against the backbone of the frog. They're rather large for the size of the frog. And these are the kidneys. So you can actually see blood vessels in these. Then the only thing you have left is to remove these giant sacs. You may be able to guess what they would be. They're attached to the heart. So these are actually lungs. And these are actually quite large lungs. Remove these because they're with the heart. These are big. When you feel these, they're kind of spongy because they have little air sacs called alveoli in them. And there you have the thoracic cavity with the heart and the lungs. Okay, I'm doing this real fast just because I know how to do this. But basically, this is what you got with the frog. The rat will be a whole other dissection. It'll be a little different. The frog is much larger, and the frog is a mammal. The rat is a mammal, where the frog is obviously an amphibian. So there are a lot of differences, and the main goal for this dissection is for you to understand the differences between a mammal and an amphibian. So basically your dissection, once you get all your questions answered, you will be through. But I hope this helps and you can look at this over and over again. Okay? So say bye to Kermit because he's gutless. Bye.